Welcome back to the channel. This video is in response to a comment that I received on one of my other videos about Monte Carlo simulation in Excel. This came from a user named CT Whaley, and he asked if I had a tool that would help him factor in withdrawals yearly and also factoring in some Social Security and RMDs. So I don't have one, so I just went ahead and just made one. And I like to show you what that looks like in this video and give you a link to it so that you can modify it as you see fit. So let's jump right into the tool. So this tool is relatively simple. It's called the Portfolio Drawdown Simulation. I made that up, but you can call it whatever you want. And I'll give you a quick walkthrough. Basically, you enter the date that you're going to start your drawdown, you enter your birth date, how much you're starting with in the portfolio, the rate of withdrawal. So I'm just using the standard 4% rule of thumb, but you can adjust that. Inflation's in here, your Social Security on a monthly basis, and when Social Security would start. Tax deductions, because this also calculates the taxes due and then give you a net income. And then the rest of it is what it is. I'm going to make these cells blue because you can modify these too. So the way this works is that anything that's in blue, you can change. And if you update it, the model will update accordingly. Down here, you have what's called the portfolio return and the standard deviation for the portfolio. So this is basically coming from Portfolio Visualizer. If you enter a portfolio, so you can do your own or you can do my default. So by default, I just did 60-40. So if I were to go there and just do it, just to show you. So we do total stock market and then US bond market and just put an old 60-40. Leave everything else by default. You get this CAGR, which is the return, 8.46, and you get the standard deviation right next to it, 9.7. So if you didn't know, this is how you do it. So that's what I have in the tool by default, so 846 and 970. But if you want to use your own retirement portfolio, plug the portfolio into Portfolio Visualizer, get the return and the standard deviation, and you'll see how it works below. So down here, it will do your start date, and it will calculate what your age is based on your birth date. And then the earnings is based on my Monte Carlo kind of simulation video. So I'm just using a built-in Excel function to come up with a random stream of returns that's based on this return average, this mean, and then this return standard deviation. So it does it every time you update a cell. It will randomize the monthly returns. It's giving you monthly returns. And I find that this actually gives you a pretty good idea of what's happening in retirement, because there will be months when the market's going to give you a positive return. There will be months when it's negative. But the way it works when you're in drawdown is that you're going to take your specific amount. In this case, it's 4%. And Social Security will factor in once you reach your Social Security withdrawal date. And then it just calculates the balance for the portfolio after you take out the withdrawals and counting any earnings. This column here is the PV, the present value column of the ending balance. And then on the next section over, you have your gross income, and it calculates federal taxes, state taxes, and then give you a net income. It also calculates RMD. And the way that it does the taxes and the RMD is that it uses this sheet right here, which is calling it the income tax calculator, but is using the current federal tax bracket. You can certainly update this as you need it. This is based on the single tax bracket. So if you're going to do a married filing jointly, just replace the values in here with the appropriate amount from the IRS website. For the state, I'm from San Diego, so this is reflecting California, but you can go down here and replace it with your state income tax brackets as well, and then it'll do the math correctly. For RMDs, it's using the IRS life tables. So let me see here. And it's a single life expectancy. There's not a huge difference between single life expectancy and joint, but I'm single, so I'm using single life expectancy. So basically just calculates your RMD factor based on your age. So, if you were 72 when you're withdrawing RMDs, the RMD factor is 17.2. It's basically just your life expectancy. So the way the drawdown tool works is that whatever date you enter in here for withdrawing Social Security, that's when it's going to kick in. This inflation rate is used to escalate your withdrawals. So every year, your withdrawals are going to go up by the inflation rate, and it also uses the inflation rate as your Social Security cost of living adjustment, the COLA adjustment. So we were to scroll down here, we'll see that on January 1st, 2030, you're going to get this payment of $1,500. So when I scroll down, 28, 29, and 30, there you go. So the payment gets included in there. And then what happens is that your withdrawals are reduced accordingly. That's basically all there is to it. If we scroll down to age 72, you can see age 72, RMD kicks in. I'm noticing here that I did not increase Social Security. I thought I did, but it looks like it didn't take for whatever reason. So I'll fix it before I, release the link here. But yeah, that's basically the tool. So the nice thing about this is that as you adjust you have to put something in somewhere to trigger the automatic calculation. But if you were to put in, something, right, it will automatically recalculate, because what it's doing is just coming up with this random stream of returns to calculate your earnings, right, positive or negative. And we can see that for this retirement period, 4% works really well, because I can keep on doing this. I can actually go to calculate sheet. I think that's right here, calculate sheet. So instead of putting a number in here, I can just do calculate sheet. Every time I calculate sheet, you can see that even by the end of retirement in 2070, this is like 45 years out or whatever, you're getting a positive portfolio balance, which basically means that withdrawing this amount and getting Social Security in this year, works. So I can just keep doing it. And I haven't seen a negative balance yet at 4%, but this is where the randomized return based on the characteristics of this particular portfolio, which by default I'm using 60/40, kind of gives you a good test too, because you can just keep playing around with it. You make your retirement, almost all the time at 4%. Yes, sometimes you end up with a lot of money at the end, sometimes not as much, but for the most part, you make it. You're in the positive, right? But as soon as I increase this to something like, call it 6%, this is where things get a little bit, something's going on with this. Let me change it up here. If I make it 6%, you can see that's still positive in this scenario, but as I keep going, you can see that in this one, it's beginning to trend down, and you ended up with, just a little bit over what you started on a nominal basis, and less on a real basis, right? So we're hitting that threshold where, okay, we're seeing that 6% may cause some issues. And as you bump that up even more using 60/40, there will definitely be some withdrawal rates that is definitely not safe. So if I go to 7, there you go. This is what happens when you have a failure. So failure means that your balance did not last your entire retirement. And in this case, you ran out of money in around 2059, right? So you can keep recalculating the sheet. With a high withdrawal rate, sometimes it works depending on your sequence of returns, and if you get a favorable sequence of returns, and sometimes it doesn't. So the higher you go, clearly you can see that there are some failures, right? But when you go down to the 4.5%, that's fairly safe, especially when you're getting, a pretty decent chunk of Social Security, because my motto assumes that once you take Social Security, you're going to reduce your withdrawal by the same amount, just to sustain your income level. And that certainly helps with withdrawals. Anyways, CT Whaley, I hope this helps you. I know you said annual, but I did it monthly. You can certainly collapse it to manual if you like. And like I said, I'll adjust it so that it does pick up the Social Security, and we'll adjust it for cost of living adjustment. Thanks for asking me that comment. This was an interesting exercise for me to go through. Took me a while just to do it because of life, work, whatever else. So apologies that it's a week and a half out here from when you actually made the comment. But for everyone else, I hope you enjoy it. And as usual, thanks for checking in, and leave me a like, subscribe, ask me questions, whatever the case may be. The link to this, to my OneDrive, is below. It's read-only, but you just save a copy to your own OneDrive or download it to your computer, and it's good to go. All right, see you in the next one. Bye.